Yes.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, yes. We also have another guest in the studio that's here to talk to us about something very important.
That's right, Dr. John Lipman. Good morning, Dr. John.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back.
Got that mic on over there, make sure.
It's on.
Do a
It's
mic
just
check.
need to be a little
Got
louder.
it?
There we go.
Do a
Try
mic check
again.
for me, Doctor.
Check, check.
There it is.
All right. All right. Well, Cynthia, we are so glad that you're in here to talk to us today. And, of course, thank you, Dr. Lipman. And let's jump right into it. This is something, there are some things that people, well, I'll just say in general, African-American people, we've got to just stay on top of our health. Yeah. Sometimes, you know what I mean? And it is so important. My grandma used to say, if you got your health, you got something. And some things in our community are taboo to talk about. But in recent years, people have talked about it more. And big ups to you, Cynthia, for being so open and transparent, even on the show. And you've made this a part of your, I guess, your plight in life. You've suffered from fibroids. And with the help of Dr. Lipman, you've seen life a lot easier now.
Oh, yeah. I like to say I got my life back, because at one point, I really felt like my whole life revolved around me having the fibroids. I felt like I was always on my period. I was either coming on it or getting off it. It was just a mess. And I think just in general, busy people, successful people just kind of take their health for granted. I mean, we just work. And unless, you know, there's like a reason to, you know, unless I'm rushed to the emergency room, I was definitely a little lax about, you know, just, you know, making sure I was healthy and getting my appointments on time.
And staying on top of it.
Absolutely.
So, Dr. Lipman, just explain to us, what are fibroids? When women hear this word, we just automatically get scared. But explain what fibroids are and how they can affect us.
Fibroids are the most common pelvic tumor in women. They're benign. They're not cancer. But they affect a lot of women, particularly African-American women, as you say. Probably up to 75 to 80% of African-American women of childbearing age have these benign tumors.
Right.
Now, they're not cancer, but they can cause very miserable symptoms, and they can make people pretty sick. With Cynthia and a lot of women, it's the most common reason why women have heavy flow, heavy uterine bleeding. Right. And so it can cause anemia and a lot of other medical problems, make you tired, weak. And there are over 1 million women right now in this country that suffer with fibroids in silence. They don't.
And you don't have to.
You don't have to. You can get your life back, as Cynthia said, with a very simple procedure called UFE, uterine fibroid embolization.
Now, you hear a lot of women, Cynthia, talking about fibroid problems and what have you. Now, I know I've heard some women have fibroids the size of grapefruit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you not feel it? You can't feel that in your body?
Well, you can't really feel it. What happens is your stomach just starts to like stick. I remember when y'all would come to me thinking I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't. I had fibroids. Okay.
Oh,
so, but I looked 3 months pregnant. So I couldn't even get mad at anybody thinking I was pregnant, because I look at the pictures and I did look pregnant.
And I had a bout with this, you know, about 8, 9 years ago myself, and the size of mine was, they compared it to like a softball.
Yeah, you can get them as big as cantaloupes.
Yeah.
To tiny peas. They're hard and firm, and they're like rocks, and depending on where they are in the uterus, they'll cause different symptoms. Ones near the lining centrally cause the heavy bleeding. Ones on the outer part can press on the bladder to cause urinary frequency or pelvic pain. So the ones in front you can feel. They're like rocks. And gynecologists will describe women as certain size pregnancies based on, you know, similar size uteruses.
And there can be sexual discomfort.
No question about it.
Let me touch on that.
Okay. Did you, on the show, so did you and Peter, did you guys run into some conflict? I saw that there was a lot of back and forth, but how did it really go down?
We did. First of all, Dr. Lipman explained that when you have all that heavy bleeding, you become anemic. So I was severely anemic for at least the past, I mean, my anemia has gotten worse as the fibroids have gotten bigger. So I'm tired. I'm tired all the time. So basically anything that I have to do, I try to get it done, but I'm aggravated, I'm tired, I'm mean, you know. So at the end of the night, clearly the last thing I want to do is use any more energy that I don't have to. So, you know, our sex life definitely suffered.
Absolutely.
And, you know, certain positions, okay, let me just put it on out there, you know, were uncomfortable because of it. And it actually, my sex drive, it just lowered my sex drive in general.
And plus, when you're wearing all this gear that they have to do, you know, pads upon pads, some women are even wearing diapers. But they're wearing all sorts of gear because the bleeding is so heavy.
Wow.
That's the last thing. I mean, you don't feel sexual. You're wearing all this gear. You're bleeding. It's just...
You look pregnant. I mean, it was just really difficult. I mean, I never got to the diaper part, but trust me, there were times I really felt like putting one on, because no matter how I put everything I needed to put on and, you know, doing the double duty and you know, doubling up and doing all that stuff, I would still have accidents. And,
Wow.
you know, before...
And you be scared of those a lot. 'Cause I'm sure, of course, if you being in the public eye.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing I need is, like, Lord, child, somebody was in Houston, child, she bled all over their chairs and stuff. I mean, now it's a name with the accident. Before, it'd be like, oh, some lady had an accident, whatever. But when it's, you know, when people know you, it's, like, super embarrassing.
Wow.
And I think, you know, from a man's standpoint, like, I mean, Peter doesn't want to have anything to do with, like, anything to do with my cycle. He don't want to see it. He don't want me bleeding on sheets. He definitely don't want me bleeding in an event. And, I mean, it just got to the point where I had a really big, embarrassing accident for a huge Bravo event. And he was just like, look, you don't have to do something. Like, I can't. He couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope that we're able to help a lot of people that's going through that. Is this something, Dr. Dr. Lippman, that a lot of people just really don't talk about?
They don't talk about it, and that's why I say it's really important, because in African American families, this fibroids will run strong through their families. That's one of the reasons why it's more prevalent in African American families. So
The genetics.
it's really important for the African American community to talk to each other, moms and daughters and sisters. And I spend a lot of time speaking at African American events, church groups, sororities. This is really important information. The most common reason why women have hysterectomy is not cancer. If you have cancer, that's the procedure you need. But this is not cancer. This is fibroids. They're benign tumors. They cause miserable symptoms, but you do not need to have a hysterectomy. You can keep your uterus with UFE.
And you can give us a call to 1-866-9-RICKY if you have a question for either Cynthia or Dr. Lippman. It is 18:18 after the hour, and let's talk about the reoccurrence and the possibility of that on the way back. Can we do that?
Sure.
All right. 18 after the hour, Ricky Smiley Morning Show.